Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rum and Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
We drink and we know things, and right before we get started, I just want to say we hope you are, anybody listening to us, we hope you are safe. We hope you are hunkering down in these crazy, scary times. Let us know how you're doing. Find us on the socials, Facebook at Rum and Regret, Twitter at Rum_Regret. Yeah, we just hope you're doing okay, and we hope you're hanging in there, and we thank you for tuning in. Obviously, tonight we will talk about the coronavirus, how it's affecting us, what's going on with everything. If we want to share personal stories, we can. If we just want to talk generally, we can. Obviously, the Rum and Regret team is probably not going to offer up any scientific information that's going to help you navigate these times.
Let's not sell ourselves short here already. Come on. TBD. Fucking hell.
But
I am drinking Kraken, so I might spout some facts. Question mark? Facts?
Fact-ish?
Fact-ish. So, we hope to entertain you in your time of quarantine. And just go with that. So again, thanks for tuning in, and here we go.
These are tales from self-isolation.
Yeah.
Going viral with Rum and Regret.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good
Too
title.
Too
Such
soon?
a great title. No, such a great title.
We're like in the middle of the beginning, so it can't be too soon.
Right.
Too early? Is that a thing?
So this is day 4 for us anyway. I'll just give you sort of a breakdown of what's going on in Oregon right now. So Oregon, not hit quite as hard as California yet. We haven't been completely locked in our houses yet. School's closed. School's out till April 28th. For us, Jamie, my wife, works with the school district. She's out of a job, but thankfully she's getting paid until the end of the year. If they go back to school, if they don't go back to school.
It's end of the year being end of the school year.
End of the school year, yeah. Technically, because she's only, since this is her first year with the school district, she's only a temporary employee. So she's not, she's actually not guaranteed employment for the next year, but she can get hired back before the end of the year for next year.
Right.
So that's kind of where Oregon's at. We haven't, restaurants are closed. They're doing takeout only. No dine-in service. We're out of toilet paper too.
I was going to say, please send help.
Right.
In the form of Charmin.
Exactly. We're rationing up here. Thankfully, my brother called me a couple of days before all the closures hit, and he said, if you haven't gone to the store yet, go to the store. So thankfully I went, and when I went there, toilet paper was pretty picked over, but they still had some, so I got some, and that's what's keeping us afloat right now. Luckily, I'm not affected with my job since I'm in media. I actually have never been busier than this last week. All of our websites are running, coronavirus news content pretty much up to the minute. This has been one of my busier weeks in terms of just employment and working and doing what I do. Let's push it to Nate.
Sure. So Bay Area, California, it's a little crazy. I mean, Martinez is a little crazy anyway, but not to put too fine a point on it. We've been talking about this for a while here, at least several weeks. I mean, I've been out of work for almost a month now. So it's an interesting, people are saying quarantine day 4. It's basically the same for me. Trying to find work, and then playing video games and cleaning my house and hanging out with the asshole cat that wants to bat at my flat screen TV. On the lighter side, I installed a bidet. I as soon as I heard that this thing was starting to go sideways, I ordered a bidet upgrade attachment thing from Amazon and put in a little T-splitter in the water line, and it's a very cold, rude awakening, but will definitely help everything last longer and clean the tuchus, so to speak. Yeah, it's been interesting. So Addie's been out of school for a while. They're saying through spring break, but all signs point to no more school at all this year. As far as California goes, Newsom just announced a full statewide kind of lockdown, shelter in place situation, which hadn't happened yet. So it's interesting. I went and got Jack in the Box today, and I went, this might be the last time I can go to the drive-thru. Takeout only is a good situation for some of these places, but I don't see how any of these restaurants are going to be able to stay afloat with that. It'll be interesting to see if somebody that had the capital and the fleet, like the vehicle fleet, could kind of centralize food delivery. They would make a really, it would help everybody out, but also be a good business opportunity for somebody to kind of help get people what they need. The Martinez Rants and Raves page is 12,000 people or so. And a couple people on that Facebook group have been talking about starting a community page. Hey, if you guys need anything, post here, and then somebody else from the page will pick it up and try to figure it out, either help deliver something, or, if you're elderly and can't get out and don't want to risk it, then somebody else can go handle it and drop it off, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that you bring that up, because West Salem has a Facebook page just for that.
Yeah.
Initially it's a sort of a get rid of the crap you don't want anymore, but it has become now a what do you need? Right. And I've seen toilet paper get traded, get traded through.
Traded?
Yeah.
For what? Like the 4-ply is worth 2 rolls of 2-ply?
I know, it's funny. There's
a commodities market for it.
It has become currency. Yeah.
I've got chicken, you've got TP. Let's make a deal.
Right. For example, I gave an old computer cord to a gal through this group, and she gave me like peach butter.
Nice.
which was killer.
We're in the barter system. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I'll give you these shells for your land.
So I've watched plenty of Alaskan Bush People. I'm familiar with the barter situation.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how communities have reached out. I posted something on Facebook the other day that I saw from a friend of mine in San Diego. It was basically like, I don't have much, but if you need something, this is before the whole lockdown. This is when schools were closed. If you're worried about feeding your kids, because a lot of people are dependent on public schools to feed their kids for lunchtime. If you're worried about where they're going to get fed during this time, reach out to me, no questions asked, private message, whatever. And then side note, if you are ever worried about where your children are going to be fed, you call me and let me know. So that thing had gone pretty viral across Facebook, which is really nice to see. What really upsets me about this whole situation is we kind of saw this coming and had a pretty big runway. This started up at the end of last year. And what's really interesting, I wonder if we'll find out this towards the end of this whole thing. A lot of people were really sick at the end of last year, like really sick, like 4 or 5 weeks sick. I know I had a lingering chest infection and a bunch of problems at the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see if that doesn't come out, that these people that maybe didn't catch anything this time might have had whatever is happening now back then and just didn't know it because travelers and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of great information out there. It's hard to fight the whole fake news crowd. It's interesting to see the way that things have changed as far as leadership taking ownership of this whole situation. I don't want to get too kind of deep in the weeds on that, but it's actually it's nice to see the president addressing the nation every morning like this is actually an issue, regardless of your politics. It's good to see that, even though the speeches are cringy and he has the best words. It's nice to see. And how the hell can you make Mike Pence look presidential? But it's happening. And it's weird. He's actually very well spoken and can put together a message. And I never thought I would ever say that. So,
well, but you got to remember that he is a career politician, and half of their existence, and a lot of their existence is being believable when you're on the mic.
Yeah, fair point.
And I mean, and that's why Clinton was so good, is because, man, that guy could give a speech. A lot of these guys are very tried and tested in that. The man at the top just isn't.
Yeah. The comparison between the two is scary.
Right. Yeah. And so, but these guys who have been in in politics a while can talk, and that's why they're there.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, Jobin. Oh, sorry. Last thing I wanted to say. So it's been interesting being at home with Addie when she's normally at school. We have this whole schedule thing that I kind of posted as a joke on Facebook. It's basically COVID-19 daily schedule, and it's color coded every hour-ish, hour and a half. That thing has really worked, where she'll go up to the thing that's posted, go up to the little poster, and go, "Okay, what time is it, Dad? Okay, I need to be doing this." Yes, that's awesome. Do that.
Nice. Yeah, funny. I saw one of my friends posted that same meme, but it was crossed out and like day 2, just whatever, stop screaming at me and let's all just get through this.
Yeah,
It's really exactly. It's funny, and I see how that makes sense. It's just kids need structure, especially younger kids. It's so easy right now with devices, and now that we still have the internet and everything.
Yeah, just play Fortnite and get out of my hair.
Right. It's really easy to do that, and it gets frustrating. And this kind of gives us, if anything, this will give us a glimpse of, number one, what teachers deal with all day, but number two, what stay-at-home moms deal with all day. And they get a real bad rap in certain situations. But I mean, I only have one kid half the time. I can't imagine 2 or 3 or 4 100% of the time.
Our friends up the road, Austin Dickinson and his wife, they have 4 kids. And they're in a much tinier house than ours. So I can only imagine. We actually walked up and distantly said hi today to them just to get out of the house. And you could tell.
Yeah. Side note, this platform and Google Hangouts and everything else aside, we definitely need to figure out some kind of online board game or something we can do. I've read a lot about people having, happy hour hangout through the internet. It'd be real easy to do like an MST 3K thing, watch the same movie, start at the same time, and just bullshit on group chat.
Yeah, I heard I think there's a Netflix like plugin or something you can get for like on your computer that
Chrome plugin. Yeah, saw that.
Kind of facilitates a movie watching hangout.
If we could schedule that and figure it out and work it, that would just be amazing.
Yep.
And I mean, we all got the time now, so.
Right. You know what? I'm pretty sure Cards Against Humanity has like a starter pack you can print out online. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Jovan. How's this thing hitting you?
It's weird. I mean, so I don't have any kids. I have my husband and I and pop-in-law and cat and 2 snakes. So it's basically just been keeping the animals fed. Ken works automotive, so that's an essential skill. So he's still working, but I don't know how long that's going to be because they don't have any cars to work on because nobody's bringing their cars in because they're all stuck at home. So I would imagine he'll end up being sent home soon. And Pop-in-Law is elderly, so we've been trying to figure out how to keep him inside. You can't go outside because you're over 65. You're a vulnerable person. So, like, if you need to go for a walk, you can go walk outside, but just keep, 6 feet away from any other human being. But, other than that, it's just kicking chores off the list. Like, I got plenty of time at home, so a lot of house cleaning. Animal Crossing comes out tomorrow, thank God.
I have Doom arriving via mail, the new Doom game, so I'm excited for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just another shout out to our community in Martinez. Like, I've been keeping an eye on Facebook, and everybody's been super cool about, like, this place has this, what do you need? Everybody's being like really positive and helpful. And so that's been uplifting. Like, I think humanity really isn't shitty all the time.
Not all the time, right? We're really lucky. There's a lot of little kind of mom and pop markets across Martinez. We're kind of at the end of the track, so to speak. So there's not a lot of through traffic as far as people hitting Safeways and stuff like that. So Safeway was reasonably stocked last time I went shopping.
So and a couple of our local restaurants have been doing like small cheap meals for like kids. Like if you go like, hey, you get a grilled cheese sandwich for free or a slice of cheese pizza for free as long as you're under 18.
Vix and Slice of Italy, shout out. They were on the news, actually. They were on Cron 5.
Yeah, I saw that last night. I was like, hey, that's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, what a great idea. And I wish more people would do that. I hope they're doing the senior early shopping at our Safeway. I've seen on Facebook where they would open for a couple hours early or at least an hour early so that high-risk people could shop.
Yeah. Salem basically told people to not come during Tuesday, Thursday, 7 to 9 in the morning to let seniors get their stuff done.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do. That's the least we can do.
Right.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's really hasn't impacted me yet, but I'm really concerned about. My grandmother's turning 90 this year. She just had eye surgery, so she's in and out of Kaiser. And my mom is going to be 70 this year, and she's been in and out of the hospital. So my dad's, definitely up there, but he's in the mountains.
Right.
And should be kind of at a decent arm's length from this thing for a while. So it's really concerning, and it's one of the reasons why I was really concerned about this very early. And I'm glad people are coming around now to understanding how serious this can get, and hopefully we don't have another Italy situation. Our country is a lot bigger, and people are partying on spring break in Florida right now. It's a little frustrating. I just read on Facebook there's a full-on soccer game happening at the field where Addie normally plays softball.
And
that's just incensed.
Mm-hmm.
by something like that. Let's move on.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. And again, you mentioned the misinformation out there and the people that still think just because the symptoms are light fluish, that it's something to, not worry about. And it's just disturbing. And it just comes to the fact that this hasn't happened before. We haven't had mandates to stay inside and not move and not go out and, stay 6 feet away from other people.
Yeah.
Yep. It's insane. It's crazy that we're dealing with this. And
like SARS and swine flu, it was basically just, cover your mouth and wear a mask if you're super paranoid. But
right.
There was never any kind of shutdowns or.
Yeah. It's just, it's scary, but I get it. If, if there's a fire in the forest, you cut away some of the brush so it just doesn't spread. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that's the other thing too, is that, and, Xander, my son, is in first grade, and, we've picked up his sort of schoolwork, but there's, this time he's just sort of getting used to math and writing and stuff. My stuff is pretty easy. Nate, I can't imagine Addie's 13?
No, she's 11 and will be in junior high next year. So she's doing, long division and decimals and that kind of thing, geometry and that kind of stuff.
I
got a quick brush up yesterday. I couldn't remember how to do long division. I'm going to throw it out there. But I know how to do it now.
Right. So. Yeah.
That was another meme I saw that was like all these kids that are doing Common Core are now going to learn it the hard way.
They're going to learn how to carry the one in this house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We did that. It's like, this is how you do long division.
Right.
I don't think this is right, but it gives you the right answer. So this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It felt like, what's the dad's name in The Incredibles? Math is math. Why would they change math?
Right. And that's the one thing that's been interesting was, thankfully Jamie is off work and still getting paid and can, pick up schoolwork. But we're having to learn to become teachers, at home. And that's, something that it just seems weird that they could possibly be out of school for the rest of this year.
Yep.
And I don't know. Because everybody's sort of on the same, the same wavelength. It's like, how do you promote them, here? Like, do they go back to school and is now the new second grade the last half of first grade?
Yeah, I'm really worried. I was already worried about Addie going into junior high.
Now
it's like she's missing half the year and to prepare for it. And
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's like that transition's
I
a
mean-
big deal, especially because she needs a little bit of extra help with.
I mean,
with
I
certain
was thinking,
things,
like, I feel bad for a lot of this, for the seniors who don't get graduation. They're not going to get prom. They're not going to get,
Yeah.
all the
Although
fun stuff.
I don't feel bad for the girls who aren't getting pregnant at prom this year.
No
No,
prom
that-
night dumpster babies this year.
Oh Jesus,
I'm
Joe.
just a prom night dumpster baby.
Oh my God. You know what's what was it called? Coronials. It's all the babies that are going to be born during this.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
man.
Come on.
Oh, really? Dumpster baby wasn't too far, but coronials crosses the fucking line. Excuse the fuck out of me. Jesus. you fucking
Oh,
asshole.
man.
Who feels bad for Corona beer right now?
I don't. And what I'm shocked is that they haven't grabbed this thing by the horns and pulled like a most interesting man in the world meets the Old Spice guy commercial about how Corona cures the coronavirus or something to help spin this. I mean, it's
Yeah.
begging to be written. Give me a break.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
On
Well,
that
I'm-
note, how are you guys keeping morale up these days?
Well, so and again, in times like this, sort of the best, you do see the best and the worst of people, and thankfully we are sort of focusing on a lot of the cool things that are happening because of this. And I mean, Nate, you have an 11-year-old, so you're probably not. I mean, but you've probably seen this online. But Josh Gad is reading stories at night to his kids, but he's putting them online, and he's funny. He's hilarious. He's great when he's doing it. And then Mo Willems is a famous children's book author. He wrote all the Pigeon books, Piggy and Gerald, and he is doing a lunchtime doodle from his studio, and it's a half an hour every day, and he draws with kids, and it's just the coolest thing, and Xander has been all about it, and it's a lot of fun. So we're it's a shame that something like this had to prompt all this stuff to come out, but it's very cool that because a lot of these people now have this sort of insurmountable amount of time to do all this really, really cool content. With the fact that we're so connected with everybody, we are getting a lot of cool things, and a lot of services have been offered for free.
Right.
I heard that Universal is actually going to release their theatrical movies to be available by streaming.
They're kicking off their streaming service early to be able to do that. Hopefully that Disney picks up on that, because Black Widow is right there.
Mm-hmm.
You had to bring Marvel into this, didn't you?
Well, of course I
he
did. Give me a break. But just to backtrack on what you were saying about some of the cooler stuff that's happening because of this. I mean, you can virtually tour the Louvre and look through their Egyptology exhibit for free.
Oh, yeah.
Monterey Bay Aquarium has cameras in all the different tanks. I mean, there's the zoos and San Diego Zoo and a bunch of different museums, and any place that basically has internet connectivity and a camera you can go through, and they're just some amazing things allowed online now.
Yeah, random farms have animal cams all over that you can just
Oh, Daddy, that's the cow's butthole.
I'm gonna watch the goats.
Yeah.
Watch the goats and do remote goat yoga.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you
You just have Stupido jump on your back and scratch the hell out of it while you're doing yoga.
That's funny. My cat found a new favorite spot, which is the heating pad on the couch.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you're so spoiled.
So-
Blissfully unaware anything's happening except for the fact that her servant is here more than often than not.
Right. Yeah.
Funny
Why do I
thing.
have to deal with you all the time now?
So our cat just recently had teeth pulled, and he's been having going through getting better from that. But like for some reason, the past couple weeks, he's been like at 6 a.m. just freaking out and meowing at us like crazy, and we kind of figured out maybe last night animals sense things. So is it he kind of knows that the world is on fire right now? Is this him you know, acting out because he senses the stress in us, and you know.
Yeah,
So,
my cat has definitely come up to me more and looked at me in the face.
oh
Like,
yeah,
are you okay? Like smelling my face.
oh
But right
wow,
now she's sleeping on the fucking eating pad, so I don't know how
yeah,
far that
right.
is.
Yeah. So Xander has had these weird moments of I don't want to say like clarity, but like of awkward premonition, right? And so towards the end of February, he went 2 more weeks of first grade, and I'm like, no, dude, you got months left. Like you got months left, and then he's like,
Whoa.
no, yeah, 2 more weeks of first grade. I'm like, no, you don't, bud, you got months. And sure enough, right?
Oh my
We were
God.
we were 4 days away from spring break. Like spring breaks was supposed to start uh, yesterday for the kids, right? And yeah, sure enough, 2 weeks later, after he says that, we get the notice that yeah, school's shut down first for 2 weeks, now for 6 weeks. And yeah, with the growing number of cases right now, there are 85 cases in Oregon, 3 deaths so far, and yeah, I mean it's only been going up, so I can't imagine this thing. I think you're right. I think we're done with school for the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see this website that 17-year-old up in Seattle created?
I
This COVID.
I refresh it every hour.
Yeah, I've been taking pictures of this thing every day, just randomly throughout the day. It's fucking chilling.
Okay.
Because now
I'm not
we're
going
in
to look at it because
we're
I'm
in
already
No,
having
it's
hard enough time with all this. So
we're in 5-digit deaths at this point now
yeah,
globally.
and honestly, the last 48 hours have been terrifying because more tests are coming out.
Right.
And like, so New York has jumped from like 1,000 cases on Monday to 5,000 cases today.
Right. Well, and that's the
Um,
way that this thing works too. Is it? I forget
right.
what it's called. It's not an EGOT. It's the name of the. I can't remember the name of it. It's basically that it's exponential, where it doubles every 4 days. So you go
Oh
from.
yeah.
It's not a big deal when you go from 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, but when you get to 1,000 to 2 to 4 to 8,000 to 16,000, that's when it really starts taking off. Because now there's 250,000 confirmed cases according to this thing.
Yeah. And they're tell two friends, and so on, and so
Yeah,
on,
and
and
so
so
on,
on.
and so on. Yeah.
wait, have you guys played the pandemic game? I mean,
Have
or
you,
no Plague Inc?
yeah, I played that game years ago when it first came out. They got taken off of the Chinese App Store right
Yeah.
when this thing hit. That's actually a really fun game,
No,
It
it
is a
is.
fun game,
It's
but now
great.
it's not a fun game
which
anymore.
sucks. And that's
Yeah.
a great segue, Joe.
You can watch the Will Wheaton play it on tabletop.
Wheaton.
Yes.
But a good segue
So,
if we
yeah.
want to make it one, or we can
What are
continue down this dark path.
What are our favorite pandemic movies, games?
Yeah, and just to preface this, we're not trying to make light of the situation. We're trying to kind of add some levity and just talk about stuff that we've loved in the past before a pandemic was a real thing for us to worry about. I know we're very privileged in this country, and other countries have had to deal with it. But
Right. And that's the thing. We are not a scientific podcast. We are not a news podcast. We are very much a pop culture, having fun, gaming podcast.
exactly,
So, I mean, that's, yeah.
we could do a 3-parter on the rise of Skywalker. No.
Right.
So yeah, why don't we start with games? Andy, do you have any
Well,
favorite Outbreak-ish style games, or do we want to do movies? What do you guys want to start with?
no, well, so I did watch Outbreak on Netflix, which is trending in the top 10
Oh my
this
god,
week.
it's like fifth,
course
number
it is.
5 in the nation or in the world or something. Nation.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean I loved that movie when I first saw it. It was scary as hell, and now that it's that it's actually happening, it's even scarier.
Yeah. I used to use the Outbreak monkey as a punchline, and now here we are.
Too
Right.
soon?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, in terms of games, the Left 4 Dead series.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, obviously zombies count in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I think is by far one of my favorite Outbreak-ish apocalyptic type games.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I have a bunch. It's kind of shocking when you go through and Google outbreak-based video games.
Yeah.
There's a ton, but the ones that I've actually either heard of or played. What's funny is that right now I'm playing the Division 2, which is a co-op kind of cover-based shooter. But the premise is that there was this engineered terrorist attack where they infected money on Black Friday in New York,
Oh,
and
God.
it spread like wildfire. They call it the dollar flu, basically,
Oh
and
man.
wiped out the world, basically. There's only, I think it's 5% of the population survives or something like that, and you're called in as these special agents to help clear New York City of these factions that have risen up that have taken power over New York, and it's like kind of 1-for-1 representation of Manhattan. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So the second one came out, and now you're in DC because this thing's made its way to DC, and you're trying to help restore order in the nation's capital, and that's actually a 1-for-1 representation of Washington DC. So you're
Oh, wow.
walking by the reflecting pool, and there's the crashed Air Force One, and it's just absolutely nuts. It's super creepy because all of the scripting and the voiceovers and everything all have to do with viral outbreaks, and
Yeah.
we should be taking shelter and distancing ourselves from others. The divisions agents are out there hunting down these guys with flamethrowers that are trying to purify the world, and it's an amazing game. It hits very close to home, and it's kind of creepy just walking around this world where there's not a lot of people, but they're talking about infections having wiped out a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But it's really well done. It's looks fantastic, and it's kind of a tour of Washington D.C. in the apocalypse. But I definitely will know where everything is the next time I go there. But really good game. You said Left 4 Dead, right?
Yeah, I did.
So there's a lot of these DayZ, Deus Ex. A lot of these games are based on post-apocalyptic worlds. Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a really great game on PlayStation, where it kind of gets you back to nature, which is kind of a weird way to put it, because it's a apocalyptic world, but way in the future. So all the beasts that you hunt are actually mechanical dinosaur type things, and you have a bow.
Oh wow.
Looks amazing. The Last of Us is probably one of the most kind of accurate horror zombie-ish games that I've played. And there's actually a game called Bloodborne, which is a pathogen, kind of post-apocalyptic pathogen world. But
Okay.
I think Resident Evil is probably the one that most people know about, and that actually jumps from games to movies. So that's really my list. No, Jobin.
Yeah, you guys pretty much nailed it as far as games go. Like, Resident Evil, Left 4 Dead.
Ooh, Parasite Eve. You remember that game? It's fun.
The little mobile game, Plague Inc.
Right.
Those are pretty much my only pandemic games that I can think of.
Do you guys play The Last of Us?
No, Fallout. Yeah. I mean, if that counts.
I think it counts.
So yeah, which Fallout 4 I think is the one that I got into.
Was that Vegas?
No, that wasn't Vegas. That was the one after Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, Fallout 4 is
Before
pretty good.
76.
Yeah, before the horrible train wreck that was.
Yeah.
76. But yeah, The Last of Us was one I mentioned, Andy. But yeah, I haven't actually played it. I mean, all of it. I played through about the first 10 hours and then stopped. But it's going to be my next thing to pick up here.
Yeah, I kind of want to play through it before the HBO series comes out.
Yeah, if that's still happening.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's another sort of interesting aspect of this. No sports. All the TV production is shut down.
Yeah, James Bond been delayed.
Well, yeah, because no one can go to the theater to see it. Just stream it.
Well, no, it's been delayed for filming, like the filming of James Bond, post-production,
can't film things
and all that
we're
stuff.
on lockdown.
Oh, I thought it was done. I thought it was in the can.
Oh, I'm not sure. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully all of those movies. I mean, I wanted to see, what is it, Bloodshot, that new Vin Diesel movie?
That's getting released on streaming. I read somewhere. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully these the companies at least pick up on it. I'm kind of upset for our local theater here. They're going to get absolutely plowed because it's mostly privately owned. I think it's like 90-10, 90% privately owned, and they're going to get snowed on this whole situation. So
Yeah, and just basically, yeah, like entertainment across the board. Like we got a lot of, like being close to San Francisco, there's a lot of like
Yeah,
club
concerts
nights
and
and
yeah.
like, artists that are screwed, and they're asking like basically for Kickstarter donations. And a lot of people are doing live streaming of like just, you know, here, we'll DJ on live stream for you. Please donate. And
That's the
stuff like
sad
that.
that's the sad part of all of this are the mom and pop businesses that are gonna, we alluded to this earlier a little bit, and Nate did, but it's sad that a lot of these good things just aren't going to be able to weather this.
Yep.
Regardless of any sort of handout we get from the government in terms of money to stay afloat and whatnot. We ordered food from my parents were over the other night. We ordered food from a little taco house just down the road from us, and they were so grateful to see us coming in. And he meant, thank you so much for coming in. Shout out to Azul's Taco House. It's just, that's the scary part of this, is that the really great sort of local mom and pops that are just going to die from this.
Yeah, and things like the arts and stuff, like even like hair salons,
Yeah.
They're taking such a huge hit.
Yep.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Imagine anybody that was working for Uber or Lyft or any of those kind of situations where this completely evaporates. The only way that we can really get through this is there has to be some kind of sweeping austerity. That's the wrong word. What am I thinking of? Sorry, I'm a little overwhelmed with this whole thing. There has to be some sweeping moves by the local, state, federal governments to basically lock down mortgage, rents. All of these things have to be frozen. There's no way people are going to be able to survive. What happens with evictions? I mean, California, Newsom signed something into law that not something into law. He said something, I forget exactly where this ended up, basically trying to appeal to people's better angels and banks, saying don't foreclose on people, no evictions, but not making it a law. I mean,
well, I think it was like an actual sealed kind of mandated thing. I don't know the correct terminology, but he basically said, people can't be evicted up until May 7th, I think.
Right. But that's not saying that people don't have to pay rent. So how are people paying rent if they can't work?
Right. Yeah.
But then you have people that own the rental properties, landlords. What's going to happen to them? That's just why everything has to go upstream and mortgages have to be frozen. Like this is going to get worse before it gets better, but hopefully we can have some positive leadership and make some things work. I mean, Trudeau came out and basically said to his entire country, we've got you. We're going to handle all of this. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but maybe it's just politician being politician, but he's saying the right thing in my mind. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, and that's good leadership. Well, I mean, that's sort of, I want to call it sort of in time leadership of saying, we don't know how we're going to get this for you, but we're going to take care of it.
Yep.
We're going to figure something out. And, I mean, it's, yeah. No, and I think you're absolutely right. There's going to be sort of a come to Jesus point at some point with this, that people are going to say, no. Somebody's got to step in, and the government will hopefully say, hey, this is what's up.
It'll be interesting to see, all the preppers of the nation are kind of dancing around their little kerosene fires right now. Like, we told you so.
Yeah.
I've got my bucket of food I bought on Rush Limbaugh's channel. Right. I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, I've long, like, in my head prepared for the zombie apocalypse, but I never thought it would come down to toilet paper. Like, all the canned food, you got all the canned food you need, but if you don't got TP, you don't got shit.
Water filtration, Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Underground, goddamn monsters. Good segue. So movies.
There you go.
Are like outbreak movies.
I wanted to make the transition from games to movies with Resident Evil and then World War Z. World War Z, the video game, is fucking nuts. They actually did the zombie tidal wave physics in that game, where you'll be in some urban area with a bunch of skyscrapers, and the whole road gets full with zombies, and they splash over each other trying to get around the corner and like climbing up buildings and shit. That's fucking nuts. But the movie was amazing. I think they were making a sequel. But yeah, let's go into movies. Joe, you want to lead this one?
Yeah, mine is Cabin Fever. Because yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's such
Flesh
a great
eating
movie.
skin disease. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
God.
great movie. And hilarious if you have a twisted sense of humor like I do. So yeah, that and Resident Evil, obviously. And Train to Busan, which I've talked about on the podcast before.
I watched that on
very
your
great zombie movie.
Yeah, I watched that based on your recommendation. I had it on my list, but I wanted to let you have that one.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, by the way.
It's great, and it's also just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two, Cabin Fever and Train to Busan, I think are my two like definite outbreak movies.
What do you got, Andy?
So that's it. You guys are gonna laugh at me.
Already.
You probably always do.
Of course,
dude,
we always do.
and I think I've said this on a podcast before, but Night of the Comet.
It's not bad. It's not, I mean, it's fun.
I love that movie. It's so terrible and so cheesy, but it is a total guilty pleasure. End of the world. Because sort of the people that were sort of half affected by the comet are, they're sort of like, they're not full zombies, but they're just like, they're gross and they're disgusting and they still have their mental capacities. And it's just, it's fearful. It's totally fearful. But not to get too nerdy on us. But in terms of books, there was a great book called Directive 51 that I don't know if you guys read or not, but it is it deals with a nanotech apocalypse that basically eats anything sort of electrical, and it's Directive 51 is sort of the government directive on how the country's supposed to function in this type of element, and cars are basically useless. Like you have to wipe down any sort of motorized electrical thing so the nanos won't get to it. But it's a total compelling book because it's not necessarily sort of an action packed. It seemed more of a realist approach to how this would go down, and it was a really good read and a really fun read. So Directive 51 for me. So
sounds good.
Yeah. And another thing, did you guys know, and this shame on me for being a bad sort of comedy nerd, did you guys know that Mel Brooks' son, Max Brooks, was a big zombie writer?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so he wrote World War Z.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he also wrote the Zombie Survival Guide. And then, so he also wrote, it's called The New Dead, which is an anthology of zombie stories. So, yeah, like I saw the video that he posted telling people to stay the F away, and Mel was in it, but
which good thing that they've hermetically sealed Mel Brooks, because
thank God. Yeah. No, keep him in
him
there.
And Cloris Leachman need to be in little separate hermetically sealed boxes and preserved for all eternity.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I saw his video and I'm just like, holy shit. And so, yeah, and that dug me down the deep hole of who the hell Max Brooks is and how he sort of cemented himself outside of his father's shadow.
That's awesome. That's a good way to go.
Absolutely.
Little horror. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of these things. I wanted to kick it off with something light though, like Evolution.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah. Great movie.
It's not really an outbreak movie. It's aliens, but it's alien infection kind of stuff. It's one of my favorite things. I still quote it all the time. I think
Stock
we've
up on your
established
head and
that.
shoulders.
Well, we've established that caca and tookie
don't
do
work.
not work.
I thought I was just a humorless ice queen and needed a good.
See, exactly. All right, we're all on the same page.
Take it. Take the leg.
Love that.
This man thinks he's an athlete.
You just see that thing that was like this. You took it like a man.
So
Two
good.
hands. God gave you 2 goddamn hands.
Okay, we're all on the same page. Right on. I think that sounds like something we need to watch in a group scenario here online.
Oh God, absolutely.
So 28 days later, 28 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Days better than weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my favorite
like
zombie
weeks.
movies.
Am I the weird one?
Well, this is one of the. I mean, I don't remember. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of them, but this was one of the larger mainstream fast zombie movies that I remember seeing.
Yeah.
Full-on sprinting zombies was not something I was used to until this movie came out, and goddamn, it was scary as shit. Girl with All the Gifts. I think that's one that Joe turned me on to, or somebody turned me on to that.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh God, it's fucking good. It's basically a zombie situation. People are infected, people aren't infected. This one girl is infected but asymptomatic and carrying a cure. So when she bites zombies, they turn into people-ish.
Huh.
I think that's the way it goes. I might be wrong. So basically, this one military person discovers this and has to protect her from everyone that wants to wipe her out because she's obviously a zombie. Really good. Book of Eli. I know that's a post-apocalyptic world. I'm not sure how that ends up happening, but I thought it was a good one.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning. Obviously, Mad Max, all of those. Outbreak, Waterworld, The Thing, The Stand, I Am Legend, Zombieland. Those are all really fun.
You guys saw Anna versus the Apocalypse, right? Or Anna and the Apocalypse?
No, but Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is pretty fun.
That was really good. If you like an apocalyptic musical,
who doesn't?
Go for Anna and the Apocalypse.
And isn't that Anna Kendrick?
No.
Well, if it was, I would have seen it.
Okay. She's not the girl in that?
No.
Oh.
It's hold on. Wait, let me Google fluid here.
How about no?
Ella Hunt. Ella Hunt is her name.
Okay.
Yeah. Similar amount of vowels.
You're right. Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, I'm going to transition over to TV shows if we don't have any other movies. I could only think of a handful. I mean, I'll let The Walking Dead people speak for that. I'm not caught up, so no spoilers, Andy.
Okay. Oh my God, you missed a good one last week, dude.
I've like 4 behind, maybe.
Is anybody actually still watching The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I've heard they killed off a bunch of main characters, so I don't want to know. But The Strain was the one that I really wanted to throw out there as far as TV shows. Really fun twist on vampire infection type situations.
That's Mark Paul Gosselaar, right? No. What was that one?
Trying to think who the main character is. The main character is the bad guy in the first Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I got you.
But really good. Also set in New York, I think. Kind of apocalyptic infection strain that turns people into kind of Nosferatu type vampires, and it's through an eye worm kind of situation. So you kill the vampire, their blood has these worms in it. It gets on you, and these worms burrow into you, and then you turn into this thing eventually.
Oh wow!
And it's really cool. So it has intrigue. It has this whole cast structure between the vampires, and then you have the little pockets of survivors trying to hold out, and the vampires have like human people that are on their side because they don't want to be eaten.
Okay.
So they're traitors to their own race kind of situation. It's really good. Definitely worth a watch, and I'm pretty sure it's streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
Next.
There was I believe it was a Danish export on Netflix. I've mentioned this before, but called Rain, where scientists mess with the ecosystem and accidentally put a sort of a poison sort of pathogen in the rain.
Oh, lovely.
And end up sort of it's on Netflix. I watched it sort of on a whim, and 8 hours later realized I'd gone through the entire first season.
Oh, shit.
And then what was the Netflix series with Jamie King? Fuck. Black Summer. Yes, that was such a good series.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh man, no. Check it. So it's sort of and I never watched Z Nation, but this is sort of like a side sort of Z Nation story. And no, it's totally good. Yeah, really, really good series. Check that out on Netflix because I dug it. I thought it was good.
Did anybody see Zombieland 2?
Yes.
Is it worth it? I haven't seen it.
Not as good. Obviously, not as good as the first.
No, you can't be. The first one.
Right. But some decent new characters introduced. I mean, I'd give it like a 6. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So,
right on. In a post-apocalyptic world where we get no more movies, how would you rate it?
Well, honestly,
4.5.
Let's say if it was like one of 10 movies that I had to watch for the rest of my life, yeah. I'd still watch it, obviously, but
it's not Lebowski, but
right, yeah,
better than nothing.
That's right, yeah.
Right on. How about you, Joe? You got any Outbreak TV?
No, not really. But I mean, now that I have a lot of time on my hands, I'm gonna check out Chernobyl, which has been on my list for a very long time. So I'm kind of excited about that. We'll see how that goes with my mental health.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and just seconding all the shows you guys mentioned. Again, is anybody really still watching The Walking Dead?
I was.
No, we're into it.
Fear the Walking Dead was really kind of caught up and surpassed Walking Dead for a while there. And then I heard Walking Dead kind of made a roaring comeback with some major moves. So I have to make some time, turn off the PlayStation and clear out my DVR.
All right, maybe, I'll tune back in and get caught up on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, no, we've stayed up to date on Walking Dead, and it's been good. Obviously not as good as when it started, but it's still solid, and no, fear is definitely there.
Nice. I'm excited.
Yeah.
On the book front, you talked about a book that you wanted to talk. That you mentioned. Jesus, sorry guys, I can't speak anymore.
Directive 51.
Yeah. So I had one that's not really an outbreak movie, but kind of on a similar vein as the one you were talking about with The Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Anne McCaffrey wrote these books called The Dragon Riders of Pern, and it's basically a civilization that crashed millennia ago. The people that are living now don't know about that, but there's a comet that comes by the planet every once in a while and basically drops what they call thread. It's basically these worms that destroy the soil and would make the planet completely uninhabitable, except for the fact that they found dragons on this planet and trained them. So now they ride dragons whenever there's a thread fall. They have these battalions of dragons that fly out and burn this stuff up in the air before it hits the ground. And it's one of the early fantasy series that I was exposed to, that and like Wizard of Earthsea and that kind of thing. Really got me into fantasy. And it's a cool mix of, starts out as a pure fantasy, but then turns into a sci-fantasy as people start uncovering the history of the planet and the people and how they got there and the threadfall and that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So definitely worth reading if you've, and Anne McCaffrey's a very accomplished author. You'll find her stuff everywhere.
Okay.
But definitely worth it.
Cool. Okay.
Another thing that I don't know if it counts as an outbreak thing, but War of the Worlds.
I mean, that's definitely on the eve of the apocalypse, so I will give it.
I will allow it, Joe. So we're talking about old school War of the Worlds or Tom Cruise War of the Worlds?
Old school War of the Worlds.
Absolutely.
But also 100%. Tom
100%.
Cruise, because I still like that movie.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Again, we hope this podcast finds you safe and around the people that you love, and taking care of yourselves, distancing yourselves, and just being good. Let us know you're okay. Drop us a line. You can find us on Facebook at Rum and Regret. Find us on Twitter at Rum_Regret. You can find me on the socials, Facebook at Crazy Drake, Twitter at Andrew Drake. Joe, where can they find you?
At Joe Chickadee on social media, and joechickadee.com is my website. And hit me up for graphic design, because we're going to all need money. Plug there.
Nate, what about you?
Sure. Avid gamer on all the socials, AV1D gamer. And let us know that you're doing okay. Let us know what you'd like to hear about. We'd love to get some new topics. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, video games and movies and all that, it doesn't mean anything. We like to do this because we're passionate about it, and we know people are going to have a lot of downtime, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people listening to all of their preferred content. And just let us know what you'd like to hear, and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys.
And
Be safe.
Yeah, and if you want to join us, let us know, and you can join us, and maybe we can get you in and bring you in.
There you go.
Until then, we have spoken.